All right, I know a lot of people have heard videos about the tailgate switch on these trucks malfunctioning, or sometimes the tailgate opens automatically by itself. And I couldn't figure out what's going on until my battery went dead, and I went and replaced it. But there's nothing wrong with the old one. I charged it back up, and the new one's dead again. So I did some checking around, and there is a recall on these tailgate switches. So if you just go to the dealer and say you're having a problem with the tailgate switch, they'll replace it for free. But they're not going to tell you it's bad if you don't have a problem. So here's the deal. The way these tailgate switches work is, I'm going to use this screwdriver here. It's just a 2-pin connector, right? So if you connect the 2 pins together, you'll hear the tailgate open. All right? And that's how the switch works. But it's not a momentary, it's a momentary switch controlled by the computer. So if you push the button, like I'm going to simulate here with the screwdriver, if you push the button and hold the button, it still releases, right? So what your switch problem is that it's holding the button. And then sometimes when the tailgate opens on its own, that's when you're going to get where the switch disengaged and re-engaged again. So what's going on is the switch is stuck open. So as soon as I plug this switch in, I'll try to do this with one hand here. As soon as I plug this switch in, where is it? As soon as I plug the old switch in, get it in the right orientation here. The tailgate opens. And what actually is happening is the tailgate switch is staying open. So I can test that here real quick. Hold on. All right, so with my handy dandy tester here, I can test the switch. Now, if I want to put this on continuity test, right, and test the switch to see if, you know, it's constantly on, what you'll find out is that there's no continuity. So it's not on. It would beep right now if it was on. See, if I go like that, it beeps. So it's not on. But it actually is on. It just sounds like it's not on because it's not pulling enough ohms. So if I do an ohm test on this switch, and if I do an ohm test on this switch, you'll see, can you see that? There you go. It's pulling about 0.7 ohms, which is obviously enough to open the tailgate and then to leave the switch on. So basically the switch is on at all times. And I've held this here for a while and just shake it around. And every once in a while you'll see it drop down to nothing and then come back up. So that is a defective tailgate switch that will drain your battery to 0. You could charge it back up and it'll drain it again. Now I did do a amperage test on the battery to see what it's pulling, right? Because GM says, oh, you can pull 50 milliamps is the standard. When I hook up this amperage test to the ground terminal to see what kind of amps it's pulling, it was bouncing all over the place. So it was going down to as low as, I think, 7 milliamps and then jumping. It was very rapidly moving on this meter. So from like 7 milliamps to like 180 million, what would that be? 0.1 amps, right? Which is a tenth of an amp, which is an extremely large amount of power to be drawing 24 hours a day. 50 milliamps is the max, and I was getting over 120 milliamps at times. So that's the problem. If your battery goes dead out of the middle of nowhere and your tailgate switch doesn't work or randomly opens on its own, get these new switches. Don't have the dealer put it in. They're $7.50 at the dealer. Throw it away. Go buy your new tailgate switch. It's really easy to do. You just pull the tailgate cover off the back, a couple of bolts here, and your whole control comes out of the tailgate, and you can push the button through, pop the new button in, you're good to go.